Tomorrow marks 3 weeks since police say a gunman shot 5 people at the Cascade Mall in Burlington. And since then, the community has showed some incredible strength in the face of tragedy, trying to move on while also remembering the lives lost. Belinda Galdi, Beatrice Dodson, Sarai Lara, Chuck Egan, and Shayla Martin were killed in that attack. And in the weeks following the shooting, gun shop owners in Skagit County say it is hard for them to keep their shelves stocked because of what has happened at the Cascade Mall.
They say the number of conceal and carry permits is way up. Annie Andrews has a closer look at this trend and why some in law enforcement don't think that's a good idea.
It's the perfect storm for gun sales, an election year, hunting season, and a mass shooting.
They're on the fence, and then when something like that happens, it pushes them over the edge.
It may be hard to believe, but since the Cascade Mall shooting, conceal and carry permits are up. Our partners at Seattle Times report a spike in all surrounding cities in Skagit, including Burlington, which had 13 applications since the shooting, compared to 1 in the 3 weeks prior. Cedro-Willie, there were 12 in one day, setting a record, and 16 in Anacortes, 8 times their average.
Way too many people hear something like this, and they go out and they get their concealed weapons permit, and they go and they buy a handgun, and they never shoot it, or they shoot it once. And that is not a good scenario. That's not something they should be doing.
Although numbers are up, so is education. Jessica Merlino owns Guns and Lace. She trains women to conceal and carry safely.
We usually do about 1 a month. We're doing 3 in October.
At 10 women a class, that's 30. She calls it a great sign, a change to what some may have seen in the past.
The consumer is looking to educate themselves first, and rather than having just a knee-jerk reaction and buy a firearm.
I think that is the biggest thing after the events of last Friday, is the awareness of what is possible.
Gun shop owners say their sales are strong. At Skagit Shooting Range in Burlington, they're double what they typically would be post-shooting.
Right. It's all come to a head.
Straight tells me for every new customer coming in, there's a question. Are you willing to pull the trigger if you have to?
You have a huge responsibility, and you need to understand that, and when it's appropriate, and what it's for, and why. And if you don't have that in your mind, you don't need a gun.
In Burlington, Annie Andrews, Q13 News.
Well, Jessica Merlino says the last time she had to bump her courses to 3 times a month was 2 years ago after the school shooting in Marysville.
Got a lot of people's attention.
In the wake of the Cascade Mall shooting, the police chief in Anacortes says Skagit County law enforcement agencies are seeing a spike in concealed carry applications as well as gun purchase background checks. In other words, more people want guns. 5 people were killed by a gunman at the mall last month. Anacortes Police Chief Bonnie Bowers says rising gun interest is normal. But on Facebook, she made a passionate plea asking people to think about the responsibilities of gun ownership before buying. She wrote, and I quote, "Ask yourself if you are willing to take another human life. It should not be an easy answer. There are no do-overs in a shooting situation."